Hi, Andy XL with another NFXL podcast. And this is episode 15 of my State of the Franchise addresses. And in this one, I'm looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and how they come out the 2025 season into the 2026 off season and then to next season, obviously. So the Bucs are a team who looked great early last season, losing star players to injury, but seemingly tailed off when they got those players back in the second half of the season, which seems a bit perverse, but that's what actually happened. In this division, that early season form would be good enough to see them at the very least challenge to win the NFC South next term. But what can they do to rediscover those levels? Three in division losses that came in weeks 14 to 16, the first two of which had the appearance of complacency when leading against the Saints and Falcons, was a costly period that certainly they need to learn from going forward. And at quarterback, Baker Mayfield's makeup is of a guy who wants to beat the odds. And that is very much what he did when pretty much having to use rookies and backups at wide receiver in the first part of the season. But he, like the rest of the team, seemed to let his levels drop when they were expected to win rather than having to overcome adversity. So there's a bit of a mental issue there, maybe. Finding a way to maintain those levels on a consistent basis may be the challenge he faces next season. Despite all of the injuries and those issues, the Bucs still ranked in the top half of the league for pass offense, though. So iron out the consistency and keep relatively healthy at wide receiver, and they can certainly be a top 10 passing offense next season. Mayfield's backup Teddy Bridgewater is a free agent, so re-sign or replace will be the decision there. At running back, despite having what looks like a good 1-2 punch at running back, the Bucs ranked just 21st for run offense last season. Bucky Irving missing 7 games certainly did not help their cause, though. Rashad White and Sean Tucker shared carrying the load while he was out. White is a free agent and Tucker a restricted free agent this offseason. And given that White may come at a cost and arguably did not do enough in Irving's absence, it seems he may be heading out of Tampa this offseason. The Bucs could go with Irving and Tucker, negating any need to add at running back this off-season. Wide receiver, veterans Mike Evans and Sterling Shepard are now free agents. It would be um, Evans is now floating the idea of looking at free agent options rather than just staying in Tampa, but he definitely looks like he's going to be playing another season for sure. Um, Maybe that's just his camp playing the card to try and get a better deal out of the Bucs. I somehow suspect he'll be back with the Bucs in 2026, and Shepard may also be back. They also have Chris Godwin, Emeka Egbuka, Jalen McMillan, and Tez Johnson. So unless Evans does not get re-signed, this is an area they look very well equipped at for next season, and they may decide to go with what they've got, even if Evans isn't back. Godwin had 2 consecutive injury-disrupted seasons, and McMillan has come back from a career-threatening injury. So, on the flip side, having depth at wide receiver would provide insurance against either of them suffering more injury issues in 2026. At tight end, K. Dalton had another solid season, but that is probably as much as he is ever going to be. Solid rather than top quality, and he's a free agent now. Even if they re-sign him, it would not be surprising to see the Bucs add at tight end this off-season for me. Offensive line, this was another area where injuries blighted their season. Star left tackle Tristan Wirfs, I should say, missed 5 games. Ben Bradison and Luke Gerdeke both missed 6 games, and Cody Morch played just 2 games. Only Graham Barton played the full season, and he had to move around to cover for the other absences. Keep that O-line healthier next season and they will instantly improve significantly as both a pass and run offense. But the backups clearly struggled. So with 3 of them, Dan Feeney, Charlie Heck and Mike Jordan all being free agents, it would be no surprise if none of them were back and the Bucs looked to the draft and free agency for better options to support the starters. At defensive tackle, playing a 3-4-D front, Vita Vea is the heart of the three part, and whilst he may not have had his best season in 2025, he remains one of the better interior D linemen in the league. So defensive tackle would seemingly not be a position of need for the Bucs this off season. On the edge, the pass rushing unit disappointed last season. Only Yaya Diaby did himself justice with 7 sacks. Khalija Kansi was another early season injury loss that hurt them last season. Hassan Reddick, Logan Hall, and Greg Gaines are all free agents this off-season, which may present an opportunity to refresh this unit. Hall may be the one to retain given his youth, but the Bucs certainly need to find somebody who can get double-digit sacks in 2026. Diaby, Kansi, and Hall would give them good returns, but an elite presence alongside them would transform this defense. At inside linebacker, Levante David and Savotier Dennis racked up the tackles last season, but neither ranked in the top half of inside linebackers with PFF. Anthony Walker only played 2 games last season. David is weighing up whether to retire or not, but even if he is back, the Bucs need to add at least one inside linebacker this off-season for me. At safety, a pass defense that ranked 25th in the league was a big weakness for the Bucs last term. The pass rush needs improving, but what about the secondary? Well, Antoine Winfield and Tyke Smith were the starting safeties, and Winfield in particular performed well, but both had decent seasons. So apart from possible depth additions, the Bucs look set at safety for 2026. At cornerback, Jamal Dean and Zion McCullum provided the experience, and two 21-year-olds in Jacob Parrish and Ben Morrison also saw plenty of action at corner for the Bucs last term. Dean was excellent. Parrish had a strong rookie season. McCollum was okay, but Morrison in truth struggled. Dean is a free agent. They certainly need to re-sign, but unless Morrison improves in year 2, they may need to add at cornerback. Special teams, Chase McLaughlin had an inconsistent season but will be back for 2026. The team has a team option on punter Riley Dixon, but he did not have a good year last term, so they may not elect to pick up that option. So in summary for the Bucs, as I went through this keeping healthy or certainly healthier next season, and the Bucs will still have a pretty strong roster. Greater consistency from Baker Mayfield at quarterback, improved O-line depth, then get Mike Evans back, possibly Cade Otton too, and another tight end to compete with Otton for work. And the offense is going to take a big step up next season, and the O-line might be the key to that. On defense, an elite pass rusher, improvement at inside linebacker, and add a cornerback possibly, and the same will be true on that side of the ball too. With a relatively short list of off-season requirements, getting Evans and Jamal Dean back are the most important ones to tick off. Then get an elite edge rusher and an inside linebacker, and it would have been a pretty good off-season. O-line and cornerback depth can then be looked at too as lower priority issues. Now, they do have a bit of cap space to work with, and they do have a pretty standard group of draft picks to go with as well. So there's ammunition there for Tampa to use. But they've an opportunity this off-season to really make themselves into a very good team next season. And that's true of one or two teams in this division. So they may well need to do that in order to take the divisional title next season. So that's the Tampa Bay Bucs looked at. Next up is episode 16, and the second team that doesn't have a first round draft pick is the Indianapolis Colts. So I'll be looking at them next. See you soon.